You dug for dust and heat, watched the rig lights blur. Coins came slow through stone, and the bills came first to hurt. But I found a different road, where the Lord can pay its way. Stack the cards, set them free, let the uptime earn the day. GPU autopilot on, turn the idle into gold. Every slot stays moving, every cycle stays sold. And I hear the numbers climb when the airflow starts to sing. What was sunk in mining pain comes back like everything. Rent the cars, let them run, profit climbs one by one. GPU rental here to stay, mining's long and fading away. Rent the cars, let them run, make it move, make it hum. GPU rental line by line, better margins every time. Red Panda Mining said, watch the old game bend. When the market turns the wheel, you need a smarter end. No more praying to the pool, no more waiting on a bar.
Mic check 1 2. You're gonna hear me now. Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate that because I would have been muted. When the hash is full of silence, I don't miss the race. I see tenants fill the calendar, I see green in every space. From the rack to the return, that's the song I choose. Not a gamble on a miracle, just a business that can you grow. Rent the cars, let them run, profit climbs one by one. GPU rental here to stay, mining's long and fading away. Rent the cars, let them run, make it move, make it hum. GPU rental line by line, better margins every time. Cars, let them run, profit climbs one by one. GPU rental here to stay, mining's only fading away. Hello. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry for the week off. Appreciate you guys all being here. And no, I probably won't be singing because I played that back, and for some reason the mic is not synced up with the music. And so I was like singing like a half beat to a full beat behind, even though I really wasn't.
And that just drove me nuts. So unfortunately, I will not be doing that again because that was annoying. But anyway, good evening, everybody. Good to be back after a week off. Talk a little bit about the Rush concert. Had a blast, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's first see who is here. We got Where's Waldo? We got Squirrel Masters, who was first. Dan Balmer, Mage Man Bro, Black Hat Team. Let's see who else. Chuck Danger is here. Let's see who else has chimed in. First Time 13, Unhinged Miner. And that's everybody that has been in the chat. So first things first, what are we going to talk about tonight? We are going to be talking about what it would cost to, in fact, I'm going to put a poll in. I want to know what you guys think it would cost to replace what I've built. It's kind of crazy. So let me do this. Quick, do a poll. Question is, how much, and again, not what I paid, but what it would cost to replace. How much would it cost to replace my GPU rental farm? And we're going to do, we'll just do this. I will say none of these are going to be the right answer, because if I gave you the actual answer, then it's like going to be like too obvious. So add option. And all right, there's the poll. All right, give me your best shot at what your guess is. Actually, one of it is probably pretty right. Anyway, like I said, it would be too obvious if I... So anyway, but we'll go through those numbers in a bit. Wait for people to kind of shuffle their way in here. Bare Naked Miner, way too much money. Yes. Was having a conversation with Bare Naked Miner. Joker Miner with the rugged... Sorry, I missed your live stream last night. I didn't even know you were live streaming last night. I just found that as I was going through YouTube today. So haven't watched it yet, but I will. But anyway, good to see you back on YouTube, Mr. Joker Miner. Let's see, what is... It's only showing me the one, and for whatever reason, I guess. Okay, now I'm going to click on that. So, okay. Guesses are pretty good. Anyway, so I was having a conversation with Bare Naked Miner on Discord chat that we're in. And yeah, he was complaining about how much it was going to cost him to build a 5090 rig. Because yeah, it's gotten expensive. And I'll talk a little bit about my strategy. Some of the strategies I'm thinking about doing. Haven't fully decided yet. Kind of waiting to see how certain things pan out before deciding what GPUs I might be buying and which ones I might be selling. So anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit, give you guys some time to vote on that. And yes, the Rush concert was amazing. So let me give you the story time with Max, story time with Max. So last Saturday, was fully expecting to stream. I had Hobbyist. Hobbyist was going to be on, and he was looking forward to it. So he was a bit disappointed, which I don't blame him. I get it. It was a last minute thing. Totally have no regrets about going though. So I saw on YouTube that somebody had posted the Thursday concert of Rush, and I was watching that, and I was like, oh, and I was remembering my regret of selling some Rush tickets when I was 17. Basically, it was a present to myself for my 17th birthday, and my girlfriend at the time for like a week and a half. Like, what was I thinking? Young and stupid. It was like disappointed because she had plans to make my birthday fun, and all this. It wasn't that fun. Anyway, So I sold the tickets. So I've never seen Rush in concert. It's one of my favorite bands, and I regret it to this day selling those tickets. So when this came along, my wife was basically shoving me out the door, like, get tickets. There's tickets available. Blah blah blah. So anyway, I'm looking at tickets. She calls my daughter and says, "Hey, would you want to go see Rush with your father tonight?" And she's like, "Yeah, I've got no plans. That would be awesome." So she comes in here and goes, "Well, your daughter would go with you if you went." I'm like, tug those heartstrings. Anyway, so then I'm looking at tickets and they're all like $300 a piece. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money for a concert. And these aren't even great seats. And then lo and behold, I'm going to give you the short story. Anyway, the short version of this story. So then lo and behold, I'm watching, it's about 4:45 or so. Remember, the concert starts at 7:30. It's 4:45. These 5 tickets pop up 3rd row off the floor. And the stage is just like right there. And they were for like $344 all in. They ended up being $380 all in. And I'm just like, those are amazing seats. It's like fate that those 5 tickets like popped up. So I grabbed them. These tickets were over $1,100 originally. I looked at the Wednesday concert, and tickets that were 1 row up and about 10 to 15 seats further away from the stage, were $1,100. That was nuts. So got so lucky in getting these tickets, again, last minute tickets. And so we went, and just had an absolute blast. Like I said, I was watching the Thursday night concert, and there's people that went to all of them. And so somebody who was at the Thursday night concert, somebody who was at the Saturday night concert, did like a review of the Saturday night concert and said, Getty was definitely in better voice tonight. Liked the selection that they played. They didn't play Closer to the Heart on Thursday. They played Closer to the Heart on Saturday. They played the whole first side of 2112, which was amazing, which was really cool because before the concert, my daughter had reviewed what they played on Thursday, and she's like, it's kind of a little not disappointing, but I was kind of hoping they would play the whole first side. I liked the second half of the first side of 2112. And because I raised my daughter right, actually introducing her to Rush. Anyway, and then when they started playing the second half of 2112, you could just see her like light up, like, yes, so it was cool to see her reaction. Geddy Lee, for those that don't know, is the bassist and vocalist for Rush. And he was somewhat of an inspiration to get my daughter to start playing bass. And so now she plays bass in a group at like a music, I don't know, not a music store, but anyway, music school, I guess is the best way to put it. And she really has a blast with it. She enjoys it. She's getting better all the time. In fact, next Sunday, she has another concert. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, it was absolutely a blast to go to that. And like I said, and to go with my daughter, who also loves Rush. It was just, one of those bucket list items. And like I said, and to share a group that you grew up with your kids who also fully appreciates it is pretty darn amazing. So, yeah, anyway, had a blast. Apologize. Well, kind of apologize. I have no regrets about it, but, sorry for the late notice, but I had no idea I was going until about 2.5 hours before the start of the concert. So, Annika was amazing. You have to know that Annika was a very, very accomplished percussionist before Rush chose her. So she has her own styles. She definitely does all the iconic fills exactly like Neil Peart did. But there's certain other things that, she does slightly differently. One main thing that you'll notice if you hear her play is that she plays a looser drum head. So it is a much deeper drum as opposed to more of a brighter drum. And I love it. I absolutely love that sound that she has. but yeah, she's great. She's absolutely great. And the concert, like I said, compared Thursday to Saturday, again, watched the whole concert, the tape of the concert on Thursday. And I don't think it was not about being there. It was about what they actually said. There was much more interaction with the crowd. Alex was much more kind of, he's kind of the jokester, kind of funny guy. And he doesn't say a lot, but he said more on Saturday night, much more on Saturday night than he did on Thursday night. And they just seemed to feed off the crowd. That was one of the other things. Being there were certain songs that were newer that I didn't know, or at least didn't know well enough to sing along, but everybody knew the songs. And it was so cool to hear the entire crowd singing every single song. That was just absolutely amazing because you could hear it just like ring out in the United Center. And it seemed like Rush like fed off the crowd, because it's a Saturday night versus a Thursday night. People are going there after work, they're tired. I'm sure there's a much different feel than a Saturday night where people have a chance to kind of anticipate the whole day of going to this, and so they're a little bit more excited and such. So anyway, it was absolutely amazing. Like I said, the whole vibe of everything was amazing. Anyway, so that was my last Saturday night. Like I said, have no, as that one guy says, no regrets. So anyway, and then actually when I bought this t-shirt, they accidentally charged me. They gave me a second double extra large and accidentally charged me for another double extra large. So that was kind of a bit of a hassle to try to get that refund, but I did get the refund and gave them that t-shirt back. I didn't need two double extra larges. They're already expensive enough. All right, let's see who else has chimed in. Let's see. We have T Dunn is here. $1 billion. Let's see who else. Big Peak is here. Guy Smiley, Mike Hill. And I think that, Northern Crypto and Tech is also here. So, let's see. How many people do we have? We got 30 people here. Not bad. Taking a week off, I kind of expected I'd have fewer viewers tonight. It always seems to happen to people when they take even just one Saturday off. That can happen. So, I had been getting about like 60 to 70 is what it had been growing to. So I expect to take a step back tonight, which is fine. No big deal. All right. Well, let's see how people did. So the people that guessed 125 or 150, where I will call them both correct. It was conservatively $135,000 to replace everything I have. And that's not even including the Octo server itself. Some of the motherboard, I didn't include most of the motherboard costs. So I basically came up with about 135,000. It's probably closer to around 140. But yeah, I was like adding this up, and I'd been meaning to do this for a while. And I was very, very surprised at what it came out to. I probably spent around 75 to 80, somewhere around there. But yeah, everything's gone up in price. Like I could probably sell. Well, some of these prices that I based it upon was resale of used equipment. Like how am I going to get a price of a 3090 when it costs more than when it was originally made? Even a 4090, same thing. So I did take those eBay prices. Now the 5090s I did based upon the lowest price, which by the way, they're going up. Micro Center is still selling an MSI Ventus 5090 for $3,700. So I base this all on a $3,700 price, and that's not going to be around very much longer. That's going to be, I would say at least $4,200. Like if you look at most places, what their prices are, they're $4,200 or higher on all of their 5090s. So yeah, I was surprised Micro Center was still as low as it is. I think their prices are based upon a markup from what they bought them for. And once they run out of those, then the price will go up again. So I think that's the reason why. So if you are in the market, Micro Center is the place to go. Not sponsored. Would love to be sponsored, Micro Center, if you are interested. But yeah, that would be the place to buy. And if anybody knows of a place that is selling 5090s for less than that, or even I was looking at the RTX Pro 5000. Most places have it going by minimum of 6,500, and most of them are closer to like $7,000. And Micro Center still has RTX Pro 5000s for $5,900. Now it's considerably more than the $4,500 I paid for it, but still less than most places are selling them for. So yeah, it's kind of amazing. So what does that mean for me or other people that have existing farms? It's probably going to mean that people aren't going to necessarily want to, spend a tremendous amount of money to get in. Certainly there's going to be those people that will FOMO in, which is fine, because who knows, prices, I thought they had almost peaked. Well, now we know prices are still going up, including memory prices. They just announced, like I said, GPU prices were going up. So with all of that, maybe it's still a good investment to invest in hardware. Like I said, I bought my average price on my 5090s was probably right around like $2,500, something like that. I did buy my first one for $3,000, but most of the other ones were like, it's probably less than that. I think I was buying them for an average of around 2,300. Of course, some of them were bought higher. So I don't know, 2,400 would probably be a good guess, what I bought them for. And now I can sell them for minimum, probably 3,500. That's a pretty good return. Plus it's paying a dividend to me. The 4090s could sell for 2,200. That's what they're going for on eBay. And the average price I had on those was probably like $1,800, somewhere around that range. Although 3 of them I did buy for $1,300 used. So I didn't work out exactly what the average was, but, certainly no more than $1,700 per. Heck, 3060s have gone up in price. They're now priced at $250 when they were going at $200 just 6-8 months ago. I was like, that's crazy. 3090s are at $1,100. 5060 Ti's, I got most of mine like around $450. They're now $540. Brand new. 5080s, I bought that one recently, so they're pretty much at the same price, but I expect that they're going to go up. I thought about returning the ones I have, started getting them rented, so I'm probably going to keep them. I haven't decided completely yet. I've got a few more days. I got 4 more days to decide, but I'm probably going to end up keeping those, would be my guess. And then, like I said, the 5090s, I did see one model, the 5090 3070 MSI Ventus, that was $3,700, but that was much lower than everything else. But I based it upon that. If I did it at the 4,300 that most of the other cards are now selling for, that's another $600 per card. And then you're looking at another $6,000 on top of the 135. So, honestly, it's very soon, it's probably going to be closer to around 150. So with all that, does it still make sense to get into it? It's certainly risky. No doubt it's risky. And everybody has to make their own decision whether or not to get into it. But assuming that prices of hardware keep going up, you really don't have much and that's a big if. But if you think that's going to happen, then certainly buying something that still will eventually pay itself back, it's not as big of a risk. So if we look at, I actually said, okay, so what am I currently making? I'm currently making, if you take power out of it, it's about $4,800 a month. is what I have made over the past month. Now, in the past 3 months, I've had a much better month, and I've had 1 month that's about the same, and I had another month that was lower. So I think this month is pretty average of where maybe we're going to be going forward. I don't know for sure. But let's just say it is. So again, about 4,800. So when you do the math, it's about a 28 month break even. But again, when we say break even, that means as if your hardware went to zero, which it doesn't. You can resell it. So assuming let's just even say you could resell your hardware for 25% less than what you bought it for. So if that's the case, then you're talking like 7 months of just a point of where you won't lose any money. So the risk is somewhat tempered by your ability to resell the hardware for some good coin, basically. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. People are still getting into it, still interested in it, but in a way, I kind of like the fact that this has kind of tempered the growth of supply, which should do nothing but to benefit those people that are currently already have hardware that is being rented out. So anyway, let me check the chat. Beak Peak, my wife calls them stoner music. They are definitely not stoner music. Not at all. I love the fact, anybody's familiar with the music, they're not like a straight 4/4, beaten 2 or beaten 4 type of music. It is always like, I was listening to one song, I wish I could remember what it was. It was like 6 beats, 7 beats, 6 beats, 8 beats. That's where the downbeats were. 6 beats in a measure, 7 beats in a measure, 6 beats in a measure, 8 beats in a measure. That was the whole way the whole song was structured. It's just it's in very interesting music. Bill Clancy, welcome. David Analyst, welcome. All right, let me go back up a little bit further. Let me make sure I didn't. Let's see. All right. Chuck Danger. The question is, with the prices of hardware right now, is it too late to get in, expand? I think I kind of answered that question. I would say not necessarily, but it is a bit more risky, a little bit riskier. It's not 3 to 4 times what I paid. Like I said, I probably paid about 75. So yeah, nothing's like doubled completely in price. I mean, certainly the memory has gone a little nuts. Even the drives have gone a little nuts. And again, I kind of made some assumptions like, DDR4 I found, and this is pretty low actually, but DDR4 $630 for 64 gig. That wasn't too bad. Now there wasn't anything else close to that, but you could get that at Micro Center. My DDR5 on the other hand was based upon $900 for 64 gigs. And then NVMe based it upon $170 per terabyte. And again, there are certain minimums that I need. Like there was a $500 4 terabyte drive on Micro Center, but it only had 900 terabytes written as a spec. Like after that, all bets are off. I'm like, no, on a 4 terabyte drive, that's horrible. You want 2,500 to 3,000 on that type of drive. So in order to get up to that spec, it was going to be $600 or $650. So I went with $650 for the 3,000 terabytes written, which is generally around what my drives currently are. So yeah. Bare Naked Miner, what did you do? You sent 5 Max Voltage gift memberships. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's see who. Mage Man Bro, Joe Harvey, Jabo Fuzzy, Cheater Buster is fake, and Tony Sai Corey? Sorry, I butchered that one. So welcome to OnlyFlans. Appreciate that, Bare Naked Miner, very much. Very, very much. All right, let me get back to the chat. Let me see. Squirrel Mesh says 3060 12 gigs have been listed for 300 to 350 in my local area. The 3060 Ti's have been listed for 250. Yeah, I mean, certainly the memory is what's making them go up. They just keep doom scrolling for deals. Yeah, I haven't been. I've kind of had my mind on a few other things, which I'll go into a little bit later. But definitely in a good place. Squirrel Mash says he's been expanding some. I only wish I had bought more of those RTX Pro 5000s when they were as low as they were, because I knew they were going to go up quite a bit. I knew that they were gonna, or I should say, highly suspected that they would. My setup is very expensive. Not really. No, I mean, yeah, it's expensive, but I mean, if you look at what I have, 105090s and 154090s, and the rest of them with the 5080s, 5060 Ti's, 4070 Ti, the 3060s. I included the 3060s that currently actually are off, but I included them anyway. I mean, that part of it was just 88K all by itself with the GPUs. And again, I was using very, very conservative numbers as to what it would cost to replace. So yeah, if you look at the 75K of what I spent, that's much, much different. It's probably close to 80, probably close to 85 actually. It was 75 before I bought the 5080s and that guy behind me. So if I do that math, let me pull up my handy dandy calculator. Where is my handy? There it is. So if we do 85,000 divided by, oh, that was not the right number. 85,000 divided by 4,800. Okay. 85,000 divided by 4,800 is like 17 months. So less than a year and a half break even point. So yeah. Anyway, we'll see where things go. Let me get back into the chat. Let's see. We were talking about Tool. Oh, okay. Got it. Mine, Squirrel Masters, mine doesn't like how much I have spent, but she can't deny the money it's made me. I mean, my wife trusts me, and she's like, you wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't making us money. And she sees it. So yeah, she's very, very understanding wife, especially when it gets hot in the house. I guess I did turn off the Octominer because Pearl mining had gone down. We're going to talk about that in a little bit later too. Let's see. All right. So I went past that. And yeah, I'm in top chat. Let me change to live chat. Who am I missing? Mr. X625. How is he not on top chat? He's here all the time. Is it true that the rental market is a little bit tough because of summer holidays? I just feel my machines don't get rented as they used to before summer. I don't believe that to be true. Before summer, we had Pearl. And so it's really hard to compare like May to June and July. And last summer was definitely not like that. And I would say right now we're in a normal period of time. I'm about 75% rented consistently. Yeah, I'm rented for less than I was while Pearl was going on. But I'm rented for more than I was at the beginning of the year. I'm rented more consistently than I was at the beginning of the year. And I'm rented at higher prices than I was at the beginning of the year. Now, I do have to attribute a bunch of that to GPU Autopilot, who does adjust my prices high when demand goes up temporarily. So, yeah. I paid $150 for last 64 gigabytes I bought 2 months ago of DDR4. That's an amazing price. Yeah, somebody didn't know what they had. All right, let me go back up and see. Hardware prices go down? No, hardware prices have not gone down. I know there's been talk about um that memory prices are going to go down with this new Chinese supplier. We have not seen that yet. Not seen that yet. Let me see if I missed anybody else that might have been on live chat. Guy Smiley. Sorry I missed you earlier. Of course, my wife asked for a laptop when prices are stupid high. Is there any relief in sight? I don't see any. Hate to say it, I don't see any. I'm really glad that I bought a laptop at the end of last year. My wife has talked about starting to use my laptop. Since she doesn't always like coming in here, she would rather be out, like kind of in the rest of the house, maybe in the dining room. But so far we really haven't used it much. I got it for CES. All right, let me scroll back down. Let's see. I said hi to Bill Clancy. I still can't believe that Mr. X625 was only showing up in top chat. That's crazy. Crazy. Automatic Beats. Welcome. So yeah, plus the server. So I haven't actually added even in the cost of the servers with what I did. So I've got the one Octo server. So I don't even know what it would cost to replace it. I included the price of the RAM in my estimate. But I didn't include the full price of an Epic or the motherboard or the actual server chassis. And the kind of included the price of the power supplies. I basically, for the price of the power supplies, I basically said about $4,500 to replace all the power supplies. All right, let's see. Cooking Mailman? Did I see that he was here somewhere? I'll have to look. I thought I saw somebody. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Let the party rockin'. So we got 43 people here now. Let's see. My wife walks away anytime I start talking about it. See, my wife is good about it where she'll let me go, but as she puts it, it's like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah. And yeah, so she's really good about just pretending like she's listening. And she honestly does listen to see what she can understand and such, but yeah. Bare Naked Matter. Oddly, my wife trusts me with this, but to be fair, she also doesn't understand anything about AI, crypto, or computers in general. My wife knows a little bit. She knows a little bit. And the great thing is if I'm at work and I get an alarm, like something went down, I can quickly check it at work. And I'm like, hey, I need you to go downstairs and reboot this computer. And she's really good about doing that when she's home. Let's see. Where's Waldo? Says, I don't believe it either. I have regular rentals at higher prices. Yeah, I think the summer has been proven to kind of be a fallacy at this point. I've been told that AT&T will hook up 5G fiber. Things will change for a big change upward. Nice. 5G generally means cellular, not fiber. But if it's fiber, yeah. So I know my son probably is moving apartments, and his new apartment will have AT&T fiber. And every time I talk to him, I tell him he sucks. And we get a chuckle out of it. Every time. You suck. Scrollmaster Mind trusts me as well. And she is just like yours, doesn't know about it. Yeah. I think that's kind of common. Let's see. I guess that's what they call it, 5G fiber or 5 gig fiber. Oh, okay. Got it. My son's getting 1 gig is what he's getting. Just paid $1,000 for 128 gig of RAM. Was that error correcting RAM or not? Like I said, I did see, wait a minute, only $1,000 for 128 gig. That's not bad. That's a pretty damn good price, actually. Where'd you get that? Was it used? Anyway, let me know. I've got a Gateway laptop. I will sell you. Oh wow, I've not heard that computer name in quite a while. Cookie Mammoths, I just bought a laptop. $3,200 for crying out loud. Yeah, mine was only like 1,100. Came with a 5600, 64 gig of RAM. Yeah, I got in just before the prices went crazy. How lucky are you? Free remote assistance? Yes, I have free remote assistance. It's awesome. May have meant 5 gigabytes times 5. Not sure what you meant there, Bare Naked Miner. Tubin Jar, welcome. All right, let's see. I went over the Rush concert. Went over the market. Oh, one other thing I was going to mention actually. So I thought this was pretty funny. So you guys know, like a week or two ago, we were talking about the Super Series for NVIDIA. And lo and behold, let me see if I can find the article. Video cards. I think .com. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, yeah, here it is. Oh, there it was. So, all right, let me switch. Come on. There we go. Okay, so videocards.com talked again about the 50 Super series of cards. So you got the 5080 Super, the 5070 Ti Super, and the 5070 Super, all being made with this 3 gigabyte GDDR7. So I said that I estimate that it'll be CES. This article came out and said Video Cards has learned that at least one NVIDIA board partner has already received GeForce RTX 50 Super graphics cards, meaning that they've gotten the board and that they will then build the board into whatever their hardware is. The hardware is reportedly ready, but NVIDIA has notified AIBs that the products are on hold. Our source confirms that the cards are physically available at the partner. This suggests that development has moved beyond internal specifications and early prototypes. However, NVIDIA has not provided a new release schedule. The reason cited for the delay is the price of 3 gigabyte GDDR7 memory components. They have said that the price on that is like, but currently the cost of those is between $60 and $70, which it says right here. Standard 2 gig GDDR7 reportedly costs around $20. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot more money. So if you're just talking about 3 gig, that's 8 chips, an additional $40 to $50. That's $400 to $500 more in cost to build the super cards. Interesting. Very interesting. And again, the 4 models, the 5080 Super, the 5070 Ti Super, and the 5070 Super. So it'll be very interesting to see what these come out as far as price. It'll be very interesting. Very interesting. So anyway, then what I thought was interesting was, I wish I could remember his name. I had the video up a little bit ago, but there was another guy that did a short on this article, and he came out and said, my guess is that they'll come out with these at CES. And I'm like, did he see my stream like 2 weeks ago when I said the same thing? It's not rocket science, people. It's just basic. You know, when are companies going to come out with things? Again, I knew others would come to the same conclusion I did just based on kind of how the market works. None of us have confirmation that that's what's going to happen. It just makes sense. Why would they come out with it at the end of the year when they're not ready to come out with the 60,000 series yet? it just makes sense that they would just come out with it at CES and have a big splash there. So anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting that that came out. No, CES is January 2027. As far as I know, it's always in January in Vegas, unless they change that. Let's see. Coming back to chat. 5x5, yes. 5 up, 5 down. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Are my 5060 Ti's rented for AI jobs or just mining? I believe they are AI jobs, but that's a good question. I don't think I have any of them up right now to view. Oh, that's this one I do. Oh, this is the one. That's interesting. So that's me mining on one of the GPUs. Yeah, because that's my mining address. But the other one must be rented and currently doesn't have a job running on it. What I can do, let me take a look here. Go to machines, and the temperature should give me a pretty good indication. So my first 5060 Ti rig is running at 62C. No, that is not, well, certainly not running on Pearl. If it's running on anything else at lower than TDP, and it's mining, maybe, but at 62C, no. The next one, 69C, no. It's currently 74 degrees outside. There is no way they'd be running that cool in my basement with the temperature that high outside. Now, my 5080 on the other hand, it's at 84C. Yeah, that one runs hot. And I have not tuned that. I tuned it back up to full TDP because it was getting rented. Now it's not, so it is up at 84C. That one I guarantee is mining. So there I have yeah, that. And then my other 5060 Ti, I have 2 rented. They're at 35C. They're chilling. So they're definitely not mining. So no, I would say no, they're not mining. Out of all my GPUs, let's see here. One of my 5090s appears to be mining. Let's see, what else? What else? Is there anything else that is mining? Like I said, my 5080 is definitely mining. And some of my 4090s appear to be mining. And I think that will go up. But we'll get into that in just a minute. I just happened to see David Analyst. Did you get any 170HXs? Nope. I do not have any 170HXs, and I am not paying that price for a 170HX at this point. Oh yeah, and ETH gas has been down for a long time. So yeah, it's pretty cheap to transact on Ethereum now. Gave up trying to get a 170HX. Yeah, same here. That ship has sailed at this point as far as I'm concerned. Did I see your comment at the beginning of the stream? I did not. Would you repost that for me, Mage Man? I'd appreciate it. Sorry I missed it. I kind of just went through everybody and didn't really read the comments at the beginning. So if anybody has any comments that they made at the beginning and you want to restate them, feel free if you haven't already. I've only got 2 browsers open, but 50 tabs each. That is nothing. Nothing. I got hundreds of tabs open. Hundreds. And I've been trying to close them. Trying to see what I don't need anymore. Where those tabs? You're commenting on all my bookmarks up here. Dude, this window is nothing. This is only a 1080. This is a HD screen. I've got 1440p monitors where I've used up all of the tabs, and in that I have groups of tabs that are like collapsed. So yes, and I pretty much know where most of them are. So like my home lab, I have both of my Proxmox servers open. I have both of my Unraid servers open. I've got my Ubiquity, both local and through the cloud, 2 windows open for that. Geez, we could have like a whole stream of what every single one of my tabs is, because it would literally take hours to go through. And yeah, not proud of it. That's ADHD at its finest. At its finest. But nice of you to notice, Frogman. Appreciate that. I hope they don't come out with a super, not after just buying the 5090. Yeah, I mean, the 5090 is still going to hold its value because that's 32 gig. 24 gigs getting a little small nowadays as far as being able to run strong models. Maybe that'll change, but right now 32 gig does seem to be more of a sweet spot. I have a much easier time renting out my 5090s than I do my 4090s. My 4090s are like the first thing to kind of go. All right, let me scroll back down. No tabs were harmed in the making of this live stream. Yes, that is my tagline. That is my tagline. I have tabs open that have tabs in the tab. Yes, pretty much. Except it's just, that's like Inception. 3 times Inception. I only have 2 times Inception. I have a tab that's a group with tabs inside of it. So there's your 2 times Inception. David Ellis, we don't have a RAM crisis. We have a max voltage tab crisis. Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. We have a memory cartel. Hey, I will say, with that many tabs open, every couple of days I gotta kill Chrome and reopen it, because it does get a little scattered in memory and starts giving me trouble. I tried turning on the option to remember my tabs when I close Chrome, but it just made me mad because it would restart YouTube videos from. So I have not had that problem. There is also another, I mean, I've had that problem occasionally where it will actually, when it restarts, it'll start a video that I had open. But that's rare, because if you have there's another thing that basically says that if it's an unused tab, it removes itself from memory. So if you like look at, I'm trying to see if there's any examples up here. It does not look like any of these are examples of that. Like these all appear to be loaded, which is so weird. Oh, this is one of the things I wanted to bring up. Come on, bring up the thing. Okay. So my tickets were right here, right there, like right on the edge, row 3, like 5 seats in. We were seat 5, and actually I take it back. We were seat 6 and 7 in the 3rd row of this section. For a hockey game, we were directly on the ice. Like that, we were the first row behind the glass, because you could see where it attached on the floor in front of us. So that's how close we were. It was right there. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like literally, sorry, going back to talking about Rush, because man, it was just amazing. Literally when Getty's looking around, it at one point looks like he's looking directly at us for a period of time, and we were just going nuts. It was really cool. Really cool. So anyway, so I happened to come across that tab. I'm glad I did, because that's why I still left it up, was to show you guys like where I sat, like right there. All right. Well, let me go back so you can like not get more traumatized by my tabs. There we go. Squirrel Mash says, I'm running dual, if not triple PSUs on some rigs. Yes, same here. My 5080 rig, I'm running 3 PSUs on it. Not because I necessarily have to, but because I was reusing some power supplies that were lower power supplies that could power 5080. So I ran it with 3. Because they're 360 watt cards, or sorry, 360 or 340 watt. I forget if they're a little bit above or below. Anyway, about the same power as a 5090. So yeah. Let's see. So I'm going to kind of go up from where the chat is. Where is all this expected GPU AI power going to be used for? Vast has mentioned 18,000. They could easily triple this number, I believe. I don't know if they could triple it. Maybe eventually, but again, they need other people to do this. And Vast is profitable, but there's other places, like if I rented out a place and I could get more of a data center where I could get UPSs, battery backup, air conditioning, all that kind of stuff, where I could say I was one tier of a data center, which reminds me, I need to show you guys a t-shirt that I made. So I will be bringing that up in a little bit. It's actually, the link for it is in the description of the video, but I will bring that up in a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Certainly with the prices going up, I don't think there's going to be as many people. Let's see. I was saying I wanted to downscale my rigs to one major server. I was saying that I have a 1600 watt PSU on a 3975WX with 8 by 16 gigs of RAM, but I might upgrade to 4 by 16, 4 by 32 out of 5060 Ti. How many would handle 1600 watts? Okay, so first of all, 1600 watts with nothing else. And again, you don't want to be that close because there's going to be transients that are going to raise up. But they're typically 170 watts. So even if you just said 200 times 8, that's 1600. That's cutting it too close. So certainly maybe 1200, and then put 3 GPUs on one. If you have 8, 3 GPUs on one, 5 GPUs on the other, and then the motherboard would go on the same one as the 3. If you're running an H12 SSL motherboard, it should get its own power supply. Trust me on that. If you have GPUs hooked up to it, it will cause transients and it will cause the motherboard to reboot. It is a known issue that it will do this. So bottom line, if you want to be successful with that motherboard, make sure you give it its own power supply. But you know what you were mentioning, yes, so I was thinking about this. I have a Threadripper, which has plenty of PCIe lanes, and I've got 3 5090s on it right now. But I could do 6. I have enough PCIe lanes to do 6 on that, and then I would just basically run some splitters so that they would all be running on. I'd bifurcate each of the PCIe ports so that I could run 2 5090s each, get it to 6, but I would need memory to be able to do that, and it maxes out at 256 gig. And do you know how expensive 64 gig ECC memory is? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. 128 gig of DDR5, and that's 32 gig modules, sticks, is $4,400 for 128 gig. So $1,100 per 32 gig. 64 gig would not just be double. It would be more than double. So yeah, would love to be able to do that. Yeah, I know hobbyists, and I talked to him. So yeah, we had talked about that. Needs to have its own. Yeah, the 3000 watt power supplies that he got, those were ones I had talked about. I said, hey, check this one out. And that's why he bought that one. So I think we talked about that on the stream last time he was on. How much will you give me for 24 sticks of DDR4 32 gig RDIMM? Bare Naked Miner, are we friends or are we not friends? I thought we were friends. Friends gift each other stuff. Actually, right now, I don't have any place to put it. I would need higher stick counts, most likely. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah, because I have 256 gig on my H12 SSL, and they're 32 gig sticks, but that only gets me to 256 gig. And I really would rather have 512 for that. Yeah, Yeah, anyway. Ah. If I start saving now, maybe in 5 years, I could afford some RAM for my next gaming PC. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Jem says, I'm worried that people are going to flood the AI rental market with unlocked CMP 170HXs and ruin it. You have to understand that it's only good for some things. I wouldn't say it's going to ruin it. I don't think there's that many 170HXs out there where it can be enough to ruin it. Plus, it's kind of a big unknown, and it's a quality control issue. Like, remember, these GPUs were not intended to be used this way. So let's say somebody unlocks, like Panda did, he unlocked 64 gig. Well, are they running stably or not? Some will, some won't. So that's a quality control issue for Vast, or for any platform for that matter. But Vast being kind of the standard from the community level of GPU compute, I would think that they have a little bit higher standard. I would not be surprised if they do not open it up for 170HXs. If they do, I'm kind of curious how they're going to do it. If they're going to have some big disclaimer on it on their website when you go to rent it. I don't know. I really don't know. Because again, you have no idea. Well, I shouldn't say that. You will have some idea by the test that they run. There'll be a DPerf score. So you'll have an idea of what type of performance you're going to get out of those 170HXs. I don't know. They definitely have their uses, but I see the 170HXs more as a use in the private market as opposed to on open platforms such as Vast. That's just my opinion, but we'll see. I know that Panda was getting Clore to bring it out, but yeah, I don't know. Clore is kind of the Wild West, I guess. Some of these other platforms that are more like the Wild West, yeah, they might open it up for 170HXs. Anyway, this is all new, so we'll see where it goes from here. We'll definitely see. Anyone interested in two 4090s for 4100? I know I'm not. I'm definitely not expanding my 4090s. I'm actually thinking about selling my 4090s. Well, as long as we've transitioned to that, I will talk a little bit about this. So one of the things I've thought about in my Octo server, I only have 6 4090s. They each have 24 gig. Well, I could replace them with RTX Pro 4000s and easily fit 12 of those in the server case with plenty of room for air because there's single slot cards. And basically it'd be a 1-for-1 for the first 6. Then I'd have to pay for the last 6 in order to get it up to. But it would be a killer server at 12 RTX Pro 4000s. So I'm kind of debating. So anyway, Panda has them all. Yes, Panda has all the 170HXs. Yeah. Let's see what else. Django had 1,500 of them in his garage. Holy cow. Oh, Swamp7 just let it out of the bag saying that he already has some on Vast. Let's see if I can search for them. Let's go to search. I'm sure it will not be listed as... God, what would it be listed as? I'm sure it's not in the general search. I'm just double checking. By the way, I did look in the search, and now I need to go through and do the math on this, because one of the videos that I want to do is like what GPUs are the best bang for the buck right now. And one of the interesting things is not even a GPU. They now allow GB10, which is like a DGX Spark. This is just one example. But GB10 based devices, those little rectangular cube things, to be rented on Vast. The only problem is those things are not meant to be used consistently all the time, and they're going to heat up like you wouldn't believe. So I'm not getting one, but it is kind of an interesting concept. Just looking at these other ones. Yeah, it's not listed in the search. Mr. Peaceful with the $1 super chat. Thank you, sir. Didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Doesn't give you a chance to put a comment, or you just didn't feel like putting a comment? All right, let's see. A100 cards. Well, again, these CMP 170HXs are like A100 cards. They have the same processor. They're basically gimped A100s. Let me see. Let me see if I can find. How would I search for this? I should be able to search for 64 gig or higher cards. So let me do that. All right, so let me do this. So I'm looking for GPU resources. I don't care how many. Don't care about T-flops. Per GPU RAM. That's RAM. That can be. I think they mean VRAM. Yeah, it's got to be VRAM. Per GPU RAM. So let's go to 64 gig. Oop, too high. There we go. All right. No, that's not it. That is actually just the RAM. Come on. There's got to be a spot. Got to be a spot. But I don't see it. I do not see it. Well, I would say, first of all, most people are going to be running at least 8 of these. So let me move it to 8 GPUs. Let's see. PCIe bandwidth. That should be a dead giveaway. Let's do that. Nope. That's interesting. Oh, because those are 4070 Ti. Oh, no, it just went away. Anyway, very interesting. I'm curious as to if anybody's, you have some on Vast, but are they being rented Swamp 7? That would be the question. Can't comment with $1. Well, I still appreciate the $1. I can't believe that they don't let you comment with $1. Is Intel on platforms? Not the GPUs. Obviously, the CPUs they do. You can run Xeons or anything, actually, for that matter. I was thinking to start a business to rent RAM modules, not GPUs. It's much profitable at the moment. I don't think there's any platforms where you can rent RAM. Could be wrong. Oh, let me end the poll since we're done with that. All right. Let me let's see. I'm going through. I went through that. I'm not going over that because I don't really believe it. There were some reports that like the cost of GPU rentals is actually up 7% over the last 4 weeks. I'm not seeing it. It went up a little bit. I got more last week. So last week I was at like a 1375, while the prior weeks I was between 1300 and 1330. So last week was a better week, but I attribute most of that to Pearl, which again, I'll go over that in a little bit. Maybe coming up real quick. Let's see. I already did that. And okay, we'll go over a few things. So, what was I just saying now? I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, well, let's go over this. What did I do with the farm? I didn't do anything with the farm. I still have the farm. I'm running the farm. So I'm not selling anything. Not yet. And if I do sell anything, it will be to get the ability to expand into more. I'm trying to figure out how to use the resources I have to make the best use. So in other words, I may spend more money on GPUs, but I'm trying to spend as little money as possible on all the other hardware. Friends share. But what's the output? The output is about $5,800 a month is what the output is. So, oh, I don't know what the output is. I'm renting. I'm not using it for anything that I do. So yeah. All right. Let me, this is what I wanted to show you guys. What did I do with it? Oh, it's behind this. Let's see here. It's not there. It's not there. Is it there? Yes, it is. All right. Let me, bring this up over here. And then let's see if I can embiggen this a little bit. I think that'll work. That should work. All right, let me minimize this. Bring this back up here. All right, let me switch over to the other scene. I have a new t-shirt. Was playing around with Claude, trying to come up with some ideas, and I loved this idea. And I bounced this idea off a few people, and they all really liked it. So for those of us that run GPU rentals out of our homes, we're not tier 1, we're not tier 2, we're not tier 3, we're not tier 4. We are tier 0.5. Self-rated 0.5 data center. Located at home, uptime, well, when it works. And certified home lab facilities. So let me know what you think. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'll actually put a poll on that. Let's see. Start a poll. Do you like the, you can be brutally honest. It's fine. The tier 0.5 data center t-shirt. Oh, Bare Naked Miner, you shouldn't have retracted. I didn't even get a chance to see what that was. Yes. No. Start poll. It's available if you're interested. It is $25. I can make like $3 off of that. It's a nice t-shirt. I actually have one on the way. I have not actually felt this particular t-shirt yet. But it's actually was shipped yesterday and should get it in the next couple of days. So I'll be able to show it on stream. So Mageman Bro, what keys are those sounds cloudy? I'm not sure what you mean. Those sound cloudy? Oh, the keys on my keyboard. I don't know what keys they are, but they are, oh, they're like butter. Oh, I love this keyboard. Absolutely love this keyboard. I also have another very similar keyboard without a numpad. That's the Galaxy 68 back there that you guys cannot see in this view. But yeah, I love EpoMaker keyboards. I mean, there's a lot of good keyboards out there, but I have two EpoMaker keyboards that I absolutely love. Absolutely love. Like I said, I switched back to this one. The thing I like about the 68 key keyboard, again, it doesn't have a keypad, but it does have a full shift key. This one doesn't have a full right shift key, which I tend to hit the up arrow instead, because the arrow keys have been kind of moved to the lower right of the main part of the keyboard, that basically makes the shift key smaller. So it's been a little bit of getting used to when I type on this thing. Anyway, but yeah, it's an EpoMaker. I think this one's like the Galaxy 100 or Galaxy 96 or something. I don't know, Galaxy 98, something like that. It's not 100% keyboard, so it's something smaller than that, but I don't remember the number on the backside of it, but it is very, very nice. I want to get Mom a Pooh Bear custom keys set for DIY keyboard. Yeah, on this one, these keys are nothing special. The one thing I don't type as fast on this keyboard as that one. That one has like a standard set square, you know, normal shape of the key. This one is more rounded, and I tend to slip off a little bit more on this one. Because the rounded keys kind of allow you to slide off the corners of the keys. Yeah. Anyway, but boy, talking about getting off on tangent, but I appreciate that question. 3 9s in my mind. It's a reference to 8 hours a year that you're down. I don't know that reference. I'm sure I'm probably just missing something. So all right. So anyway, so yeah, what do you think of the t-shirt? I'll zoom in a little bit so you can get a better look at it. I don't know. I thought it was fun. I had a couple other t-shirt designs that I didn't find them as interesting. So I may iterate on those a bit and see if I can come up with something similar to the idea behind those t-shirts with a much better design. So, but I'm planning on trying to bring out one t-shirt a month. So yeah. All right, cool. Appreciate that, Mage Man. And again, if you don't have the money to buy it, $25 for a t-shirt is kind of expensive, but I'm more looking for if you like it, because if people like it, maybe 10% of the people that like something will actually buy it. So yeah. Anyway, I know that I showed it to my son. He is very critical of things that I do. And he's like, yeah, I showed it to my boss and we both liked it. We both really like it. So anyway, yeah, he approved. He definitely approved. So anyway, it's fun. It's just a fun little thing. So I'll look forward to having that. Definitely going to be redoing other things. I still have like the old logo on my fourth wall store. I want to change everything so that it's just max voltage, not max voltage mining and crypto, since that's not really the subject of my channel anymore. It's generally more about making money with technology in general, and mostly about GPU rental. So anyway, all right. I'll look. So, all right. Well, it looks like it's a pretty damn positive. I got 1 no vote, which is fair. No problem. But yeah, most people liked it. 11 votes, 10 people liked it, 1 person didn't. Hey, that's better than every time you see a toothpaste commercial and 3 out of 4 dentists recommend type of thing. So hey, that's a pretty good recommendation. Appreciate that. Anybody else wants to vote? I'm gonna leave it up for a little bit longer. Definitely would like more opinions rather than fewer. I got 45 people here now. Appreciate you guys being here. All right, let me move that out of the way. Do you rent a workstation out or just raw mine? Again, it's rented out for whatever the person wants to use it for. Most of mine, it's a Docker container setup is what Vast standard setup is. You could rent it out as a VM. Most of mine are not rentable as VMs. But yeah, it's just a matter of you're renting out the hardware for whatever they want to use it for. Typically that is AI workloads or mining, one of the two. And obviously, video gen, picture generation, whatever. So yeah, it's pretty much up to them. If you go onto the Vast website, you'll see like all the different modules that they have that you can use, as a basis for what you're renting it out for. So, maybe they need a quick compute rundown. Hopefully that's what I kind of just gave, but yeah, if you go to the Vast website as a renter, you can actually see all the modules you could use. Do you have a UE 5.8 plus clore setup? I don't. We don't set that up. That is for Vast has those types of setups. Okay, they have all different types of setups. All right, I need to bring it up in a different browser though. So let me do this. Let's do cloud. No, not cloud. Just do Vast.ai. Let's see. Not developers. GPU cloud. Get started. I guess it is kind of the same thing. It's still cloud.vast.ai. Select template. I don't want to log in. I don't want to log in. It's going to make me. All right. Well, let me, I don't remember getting to it from this. Give me a second. Let's go to search. Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll work. Let me show you this. So here's the different modules. Oh, it's not going to show there because that's a different browser. So you got all of these are the different things you can do. You just have a general Linux desktop container and you can do whatever you want in there. You can do VLLM, SGLang, Llama, Olama, Open Web UI. Let's see, Hugging Face, Langflow, like Go, Comfy UI. Let's see, open source. I don't think you can do open source anymore. Maybe you can. I don't know. Let's see, Unreal Engine, TensorFlow. Oh, you can even do a Whisper Flow. I'm assuming that's what that is. Hashcat. Definitely had a lot of people running that. Just do a general if you for those rigs that will allow a VM. You just have a general Ubuntu 22.0 for VM or desktop VM. You know, different things. So, yeah. Anyway, hopefully that answers your question. So it's more about renting it out and then you set up what you want to set up. Typically with something like OpenClaw, you'd probably want to set up something that is more permanent than a GPU rental. You know, you'd want to use, I mean, there's a million hosting companies out there, but you'd probably want to have a hosting company. They're not that expensive to set up, a lot cheaper than renting out a, you know, something here, for a month. So, oh, interesting. All right, so let me bring this back down here so I can put that back where it belongs, right there. And then put that back 2 machines. There we go. Got a few more rented. I've got 5. I've got 10 out of my 15 4090s are now rented. Anyway, all right. Let me go back. So I went over that. So one of the things I actually did this week, and something I would recommend doing, is checking your rigs for the latest drivers. Obviously, if you have a rental, you don't want to do it when you have a rental. But if you have something that's freed up that doesn't have a rental, the minimum CUDA I would recommend at this point is 13. I do have some that are on 12.8 that I have not had the chance to upgrade. Let's see, 1, 2. Actually, I should upgrade that one. Well, that's a 3090. It's not as important to upgrade that one. But it'll be interesting to see if that will help. But yeah, pretty much I have 2 rental rigs, 1, 2 that are currently still on 12.8 CUDA. So I do need to upgrade those. So there's a process of doing it. You just want to stop all of the Docker, Vast. There's a command for it, and then upgrade your driver. It's a pretty easy process. But yeah, definitely something to look at there. I did that this past week on one rig that wasn't rented. Now it's re-rented. So I'm kind of curious if maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, one other thing I did, and I've been meaning to put out a video on this, is I'm on version 3.1 now of the Vast installer. So there was it's not really a bug. It's a bug in Ubuntu 24.04 where there's like a race in the install. And what it was causing was all of these like early boot parameters that I had programmed in, it basically was zeroing all those all out. So disabling Nouveau was not happening, and that was causing problems where when it would go to reboot, it would just stop, it would freeze. So once I kind of figured out what was going on with it, we found a workaround, and so now 3.1 no longer has that problem. So we should be good with that one. And it doesn't happen to everybody. That was the other thing that was kind of interesting. It was a very limited number of people, that I think 3 people approached me with the bug issue. And thankfully it happened to Panda. So it made it really easy. I'm like, okay, cool. I have a bug fix. I want you to test it, because I'd already developed it at that point when he came across it. So he tested it and it worked. So it's been tested. It does work. Yeah. So, and actually one thing Panda did show was that I did program in, this was actually version 2 that I did sense the V100, if it's installed, that it does only install the 580 driver, or whatever. I didn't even remember which one it told me to do. I just programmed it in so that if you have V100s, use this driver. Do not go to the 590 driver. It will not work. So yeah, let's see. Mageman Bro, when I do sudo apt full upgrade, it had stacked NVIDIA drivers and it didn't know what to do. I would not do full upgrade. Are you talking about, what are you trying to upgrade? Are you trying to upgrade from 22.04 to 24.04? What are you trying to upgrade? I would not do sudo apt full upgrade. I don't think that's that. Oh, Dwight from GPU Autopilot prompted your fix. Interesting. It's interesting you bring that up, because I am kind of curious. I have not tested Dwight. I had thought about developing my own Dwight, but I will help enable to work with that. No, my 5060 Ti's are not rented. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have one that's rented for more than 10 cents. The other ones are rented for like 7 cents now, which was more typical before. So yeah, you have to, I looked at what, one of the things I do is I look at the market stats. And if you look at the 5060 Ti market stats, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up off the side. I'm not going to show it on the screen, but well, I thought I was going to. Where did the 5060 Ti go? Or did I not click it? I guess I didn't click it. Give me a second. I will click it so that I can look at it. Yeah, I did not have it clicked. Weird. All right, so 5060 Ti. Yeah, I mean, right now it's the low is 5.8 and the mid is 7.5 cents. So they have definitely dropped quite a bit in pricing now that the whole Pearl craze is over. I feel like I need to be about 7 cents to get them mostly rented, not completely rented, but mostly. And considering, you got to remember, how much were those GPUs when I bought them? About $450. Okay. And we have them on T7810s, which cost me like not much. I bought those a long time ago. So if we take 0.07 times 24 times 365, that's $613. Those things paid themselves off in less than a year with being priced at 7 cents. Less than a year. Even if you say, multiply that times 0.85, so we take the power into consideration, it's still $521. They're still a really fast payback. Now, again, that's based upon 100% rental. They're not really 100% rented. So even if you just said my average is about 0.75, so we say 0.75, still $390, maybe a little bit over a year is what it would cost to. But again, I have been 100% rented on these before. Right now at 75% is kind of the low side of average for me. So yeah, go figure. Yeah. So, I mean, everybody's like, oh, they don't really make a lot. They don't, but they don't cost a lot either. So if you have some lower tier hardware, why not put it on here and see what it does? Like T7810s I bought for like $100 maybe. I think is what I ended up buying them for. Thank you, Geek of All Trades, very much. He had a line on them, and I bought a few from him, about 4 of them from him. And then I upgraded the RAM, which was not much at the time. So I've got 64 gig of RAM in 3 of them and 48 gig of RAM in another of them. So I reused the existing RAM that was in there, but then I also expanded the RAM. So, yeah. You should put out a maintenance script to go with your install script. Not a bad idea. I hadn't thought about that. How would I package that though? I mean, I don't really want to charge extra for it, honestly. So maybe I'll make that like a freebie on my website. Or maybe I'll just publish the script. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Anyway, thanks for that suggestion, Bare Naked Miner. Remind me in our chat so I do not forget. All right, let me see. Updates can break stuff. Yes, updates can break stuff. They definitely can. Sometimes you gotta go back and start from scratch. So yeah, you just gotta realize that when you do an update, yes, you could break stuff. No question. And they have gone up and yes, the 5060 Ti's have gone up in resale value. 450 is what I bought them for. They're now like $540. So, you know, right around 20% gain or so. I'm not really, just kind of doing the math in my head. So yeah, I have not lost any money on those. I've only made money on them. Do you know if NVIDIA changed the control panel app? The last 2 versions of drivers, when I click on it in the taskbar app, will not pop up. I'm on 596.36. The 610 versions are affected. Yeah, honestly, I don't know, because most of the stuff I'm doing is in Linux. So that's the drivers I'm talking about, are the Linux drivers, not the Windows drivers. My 3070 Ti's are making more than anything else I have up. Yeah, it's interesting how certain things, like I was making like over 70 cents on my RTX Pro 5000. That has come down now. I'm now making like 55 cents. But still at $4,500, and it's only a 300 watt card, and it is not using anywhere near 300 watts for what it's being rented for. That was an amazing buy. I only wish I had bought more. Oh, hindsight's 2020. All right, let's see. People want ROI in 30 days, bro. Otherwise, we are crazy for doing this. You're not wrong, Quick Hash. Yeah. Guys, if you've ever started a business before, 3-year payback is considered really good. Really good. And to have the actual hardware to get you that break-even point, is still worth a considerable amount of, at least considerable amount of what you paid for it. Maybe not 100%. In our case right now, it's over. It's just an amazing business to be in. It really is. It was actually, I was studying, so Base is, and there's a number of companies that are doing this now. I came across another company today and I cannot remember what it was called. But anyway, Base is a company that's based in Texas that does batteries, and they charge a certain amount to install, and they charge you like a recurring, like monthly fee for a battery backup. But you also get a break on your power rate by doing so. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but like in Illinois, for instance, Base is offering it for $95 in. They don't really disclose what the monthly fee is, but there is a small monthly fee. It's a small yearly fee. Actually, they don't charge you per month. It's per year. And you get like 50 kilowatt hours of battery backup. And on top of it, you get a 25% discount on your power. Okay, remember, I'm an hourly pricing. I save a lot more than 25%. So that's what they're basing it on. They make you change to hourly pricing, or they basically change you to hourly pricing. They are now billing you 25% less, but they're making money on the hourly pricing versus their discount to you, plus a virtual power plant program that they make money on, you don't. So they're making their money on all the programs that ComEd offers. Anyway, there was a reason why I got into that conversation. And now I don't remember how I got down that rabbit hole. Oh, I know what I was talking about. So their business plan is that they base their this business on the fact that they will break even on each one of these installs in 3 years and 6 months. That's when they will break even. And they plus still own the battery, but the battery is depleting itself over that period of time. It's got like a 12-year warranty or something like that. You don't own the battery, they do. You're leasing it from them. And for those people that aren't willing to change to hourly and to have a guaranteed 25% discount on your power, why wouldn't you do it? I think it's kind of a no-brainer, honestly. You get a feature of having battery backup. It's really quick. And you have a 25% discount. Again, I would not do it. Because my power is too high. The max they will do is 11 kilowatt hours of delivery. If you are trying to draw more than 11 kilowatt hours, which I do, the battery will never kick in. So it won't work for me. Plus, like I said, I pay a lot less per power, so I'm not willing to pay more for power just to have this feature. So anyway, doesn't work. Max's scroll moment. Yeah. So no, I figured out why I was going there. It had to do with their business payback. Their business model is 3 years and 6 months. And we're complaining about it when, oh my gosh, the break-even point is a little over 2 years. Bare Naked Miner, 11 kilowatt hours. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. And the thing is, they don't want customers like me. What they want to be able to do is to take the power from that battery, and during high demand periods where the hourly price is really expensive, that they can basically feed the network and get paid back for what they're feeding to the network. So they have a special deal with ComEd, and it makes sense. Definitely makes sense. But they wouldn't want somebody like me that when the power goes out, I'm going to use all that. Plus, I also want to be able to use that to, well, I guess if I'm doing that, I'm getting off of hourly pricing. So anyway, I mean, it's a genius idea. There are other companies out there that are also doing this in Illinois. I wish I could remember what the name of the company was. I'll have to pull it up. But that one is a little bit better. So I have to look into this, but because I'm on electric heat, my distribution rate should be around 3 cents versus 6 cents. So the rate that Basis is charging is 14 cents, 8 cents for distribution. 8 cents for supply and 6 cents for distribution. That's how they get to the 14 cents. Well, if they still allow me to get the 3 cents because I'm on electric heat, then it would only be 11 cents. The other one said, they have 14 kilowatt hour inverter. So they could deliver 14 kilowatt hours. Again, still too low. But they said their all-in rate is 12 cents. But they don't specify the supply and distribution, but it would mean, I would think, 6 and 6. So if I'm at 6 and 3, that would be 9 cents. That one would be a little interesting to me if that's going to be the rate, and how long could I lock into that rate? If I could lock in at 9 cents consistently, because right now, the last month I was at 11 and a half. I mean, last month was a bad month with the heat. So yeah, I don't know. So I'm actually going to look into that other company. I wish I could remember what it was, but I did get an email on, either got an email or something, Facebook. I don't know. Got some advertisement, maybe it was an email. I'll have to look, but I'll review that next week. Duke is wanting to do that in North Carolina and South Carolina. I mean, it just makes sense. It makes so much sense for distributed power. You know, everybody should be charging overnight. Charge those batteries overnight when it's cheap, when it's real cheap. All right. I'm making 9.4 a day on two 3070 Ti's on that 1 HP server, and those paid for themselves years ago. Yeah, I hear you there. My 5060 Ti's, if they haven't paid for themselves already, they're darn close. Darn close. Oh, apparently I use so much power. My Solo only feeds 300 of solar a month. I noticed on the power bill where it said received. So my solar that I have on my house, 0 goes to the grid. 0. I use too much power for it to ever exceed what so the max amount that my solar panels can deliver is 5, but it never gets there right now because it's been a few years. It's degraded a bit. But usually it's about like 4.6, 4.7 kilowatts. And I'm pulling more than that 100% of the time. So I did not find the 170HXs on Vast. I did a quick look. I could not find them. But if I would have to probably use the CLI to find them, not the. So I was trying to use the GUI search and trying to narrow it down, but unfortunately, I was unable to find them based upon that. They might just not be showing up in the GUI. That would make sense. A lot of times when you have new GPUs, they show up in the CLI first before they show up on the GUI search. So, all right, let me, so I talked about that. I already talked about that. All right, let's talk about Pearl. I knew this was gonna be a long stream. I had a lot to talk about. It's interesting. Pearl. Sorry, all I can think of is Monty Python. I'm not dead yet. I'm feeling better. Anyway, very bad impersonation. But Pearl is making a comeback. Curious what the price is. I haven't looked at the price recently. Let me see if I do this. Let's see. What is the price? Approximately. That's hash rate. Oh yeah, there it is. About 32 cents. Again, a little low. But what is the network hash rate? The network hash rate is 20. 20. That difficulty is coming down fast. It's at 28,781. 28,781,000. It's coming down, and it's going to continue to come down, which is going to make the block shorter and shorter back to that normal 3-minute block, and it's going to be more profitable. So right now, if I look at, and again, I'm using the Alpha Pool website for this, but if I look at the calculator, it is saying for the 300 I get on the 4090, estimated amount per day is about 250. And I use about half of that in power when mining Pearl mining. So it isn't a lot. It's $1.25 a day with a 4090, but it's better than making nothing. And as long as it's cool outside, I'm going to continue to mine. Now, if it heats up again, I'll probably turn off at this price. But if it gets super profitable like it has in the past, I'm going to turn everything back on. My Octominer is off, but I might be turning it back on. Yeah. So kind of curious to see what happens. But basically, there was an exploit where people were getting a lot more hash rate than what they should actually have been getting. And the Pearl network basically closed that off. So, 'tis but a flesh wound. Yes, exactly. Come on, do us a favor. I'd like to go for a walk. Yes, perfect. Love it. Glad people know. That's money. That's the Holy Grail, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's Life of Brian. I always get the beginning of those two movies mixed up. The MOE block exploit. Yes, exactly. So keep an eye on Pearl. Might be making a comeback. We might start seeing our GPU rental rigs used for Pearl mining again. Not saying for sure. Certainly we'd have to hold this, at least hold this 32 cents. And obviously if it went back up to closer to like around 60 cents, yeah. But yeah, anyway, it's going to be kind of interesting. we should see things get more profitable as that difficulty comes down to match what the actual network hash rate is right now. Pearl, Pearl, it is a mineable crypto coin that you can also do AI with at the same time that you mine. And there are networks out there where you can rent AI and they give you a discount on the rental because they're making Pearl while you are doing your AI. It's kind of interesting. I forget what the name of that particular one site was, but I know that there's one site doing that. Yes, proof of useful work, but think of it this way. And I don't know how they do it, but basically it's like load management. Because if you look at when you actually run your prompt, the actual hash rate that you're mining at goes down. So I feel like when you run that, yes, it's mining less. So it somehow is able to manage both demands on the computer. And so yeah. So exactly, and by the way, your actual like commands and stuff that you're running, you actually see some of that happening when you're looking at your actual miner. So there is something going through the miner when you're doing it. So they are linked. I don't know all the details of it, but yeah, it is interesting. Definitely Holy Grail. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was pretty sure. Difficulty is still high. Yes, it is still high, but it's coming down and it will accelerate as it gets as it goes. So all right, let me talked about that. Oh, this past week, it might have been last weekend. Anyway, sometime since my last live stream, one of my rigs was rebooting like crazy, and it was my main Unraid server. Yikes. So I did some troubleshooting thinking it was the CPU. And what I basically found out was, yes, it could have been the CPU and it could have been the memory. So there were two possible solutions. The first solution was turn XMP off and go into, there's a setting in there where you can set typical idle power for your CPU so that I can't drop below that typical idle power. And when I set both of those settings, the reboots stopped. What happens with especially 5950Xs in my experience, I've already had two do this, is that the power regulation in them, something happens where if the power, it'll allow the power to go too low and then it just basically shuts off and then immediately it goes, oh, oops, and it restarts the system. And so it was doing this like every couple of hours. I was rebooting. And so since I knew this was happening, I was like, I pretty much know how to do it. The other thing you can do is you can disable C states, and then it will just run at a higher power all the time. And that will be my next step if this starts to happen again, because this is a slow degradation of the CPU, I believe. So if that starts to happen again, I'll go into C states, disable it, and if it starts that again, I already know I'll have a dead 5950X probably within like 3 or 4 months, once that happens. So at that point, I'm going to basically decide what I'm going to do with that. Am I going to replace the motherboard and the CPU, or am I just going to replace the CPU? I probably will just replace the CPU, but yeah, when you're buying used 5950Xs, it's kind of a crapshoot because, geez, I could sell the two that have already gone bad on me and nobody would know, nobody would be the wiser. So it's, like I said, it's kind of a crapshoot, unfortunately. So, but anyway, I was able to fix that rig. And what was interesting is that the renter never left, which I was so confused about. If that was happening to me, I'd be gone. Let me go find something else. It wasn't that cheap. So yeah. So that happened in the last week. Let me go back to chat. I know what it is, but what is it used for? Like Matic is a part of Chase. I think either Matic or Dot. Like what is Pearl used for currency wise? It's its own currency. It is not like a chain on another, like it's not a Solana token or anything like that. It's its own coin. It's its own coin. So it's not on Matic, DOT, Solana, Ethereum. It's not on any of those chains. It is just its own coin. At least that's what I understand. If anybody else has a different understanding, let me know. But that is my understanding. The renter was stressing about which part of his code caused the machine to restart that much. Yeah, it wasn't him. Definitely was not him. Definitely not him. Alrighty. I am going to go into something personal. Definitely shifting gears. So obviously you guys know I was off work for 3 months. Unless you're new, but hey guys, I was off work for 3 months. Had a hip replacement. So I had a lot of time to think. And you know, I mentioned before that I was very, very unhappy with my job. Not as unhappy with my job now. Still gets frustrating from time to time. Every job does. But there are a number of sorry, I'm looking at some notes because I have some things I need to stay away from when I talk about this. There were definitely some things about me as a person that did not mesh well with my boss at all. One of them is very analytical. So I'm always trying to figure out a way to build a better mousetrap. Like one of my things is challenge the status quo. That is one of the things I always carry as a pillar. Okay. Of kind of who I am and what I try to be to add value to a company, challenge the status quo. And I still do that. But challenging your boss all the time to challenge the status quo, not always a very effective way of doing that. So when my manager would make a call and I would disagree with him, I would let him know I disagree and here's why. And he didn't want to hear it. Just be honest. Didn't want to hear it. One point told me stop being so argumentative and just do my job. So that was at a point where he was frustrated. It's not normally who he is. So not a bad guy, but he was frustrated with me at that point. And so he lashed out. Hey, you know what? We all lash out. So I don't hold that against him at all. But that's what he said. So that really stuck with me. And I was very frustrated by it. And so over those 3 months, I really thought about like, how do I, when I go back to work, how do I work with him in a better way? And so a number of things I have incorporated. One is when I'm asked my opinion without him giving his opinion, I'm like, yeah, let me give that some thought. What do you think? So that's number one. Because I did, not this guy, but a previous boss at a previous company, which by the way, Claude said stay away from this topic, but I don't care. A previous boss would bring me into his office and say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'd openly state what I thought. And then he would proceed to be mad at me because he didn't agree with what I said. It was the dumbest thing. And at one point I did finally say to him, I'm like, why do you ask me my opinion if you're just going to disagree? I mean, it doesn't seem like you want my opinion. That was not a good move. But I was very frustrated at the time. Yeah. Anyway, probably will never see this gentleman ever again in my life, and that's fine. But yeah, it was very frustrating. Very, very frustrating to work for that particular manager. So anyway, I thought about that experience and how I could have handled that better. And so now, like I said, I now ask the question. And then the other part of it is when he does state what his opinion is of what, I raise questions. I don't give my opinion. I say, what about this? What about this? These are the things that I'm taking into account with what I already know what my decision would have been. But instead of telling him what my decision is, I tell him about the things that I would have taken into account. Because if I tell him my decision, he is just going to argue with me about why his decision is right. And if I try to tell him why I arrived at the decision, he's not going to listen. That's normal human behavior. So it's not him necessarily, it's just normal human behavior. People want to be right. Okay. So I'm going to help him be right by saying, did you consider this? Did you consider this? Making him think more about his decision as opposed to just telling him what my decision would have been. And that's been very, very effective. Very, very effective. Again, it becomes, we're coming to the decision together, or I don't even care. Hey, take credit for the idea. I don't care. That doesn't matter to me. It's about doing what is the best for the business. So trying to give you guys the short story to this instead of going on, and they basically said 20 minutes. This will take 20 minutes to talk about. I'm just trying to think if there's anything I also, so anyway, so I've been doing that, and the amount of stress I feel is significantly less because it's not eating at me that he's making a bad decision. One thing is I've resigned myself that if I give him this extra input and he still decides to do what isn't in what I think is the best decision, fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. I'm just not. I'm not going to take it personally. I just come to the conclusion that it's just the way it is. Just the way it is. So my stress level has gone down. And there are 2 other people that I'm trying to kind of coach into doing the same thing. One person gets very frustrated with him, and because she does one thing and then he says to do another, and then she like argues and it becomes not nice. And basically the way I used to be. So yeah. So I think she's starting to come around to that. I hope. But anyway, but it has been much more effective. What I do find interesting is that he thinks it's all because of the hip replacement. And I will say I'm a much easier person, a little bit more fun person to be around now that I'm not in pain all the time. So I think there's a little bit of something to that, but the major change is not that. The major change is the change in approach. And I'm not sure if he really understands that. I've tried to kind of, I've somewhat tried to explain it to him. But no, without going into exactly what I'm doing. But anyway, it has helped make my week a much less stressful period. It makes me dread going to work a lot less. A lot less. And yeah, it's definitely been. So so one of the things I did want to mention, so this isn't about not speaking up. It's not about never speaking up. It's that pick your battles. If it really doesn't matter that much, don't argue about it. Even if you're right, just don't. It's just, what are you going to get from it? It's career limiting. Yeah, it's gotten me into trouble before, as I mentioned. Yeah, is what it is. But yeah. Anyone else worked for a manager like this? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Jay Styles says, Max, move to New Jersey. I will hire you. I like that question, the status quo attitude you have. Any good boss worth his salt would appreciate that. I agree. But what's interesting is this is really interesting. So my previous boss, and I actually told this directly to him. I didn't know what I had until it was gone. My previous boss didn't do anything to help me. And at the time, it was very frustrating because when things got challenging, he didn't step up to help. And when I told him, I said, I now appreciate that you did that because I'm guessing you just knew that I had it. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you always had it. It didn't matter how stressful things got. Did you really want me to step in and do things the way I wanted things done? Or did you want to take the bull by the horns and do it the way you wanted? I'm like, yeah, I didn't realize what I had until it was gone. And I told that to him. He's like, I don't know whether to take that as an insult or a compliment. I said, well, I will tell you that it was meant totally as a compliment. I didn't know what I had. I am at fault not knowing that how good of a manager you were and bringing the best out of me. And I will say that he always sang my praises to upper management, which I am eternally grateful for. So anyway, it's don't always know when you have a good manager when you have a good manager, because as reporting to somebody, you have a tendency to get frustrated with the idiosyncrasies of your boss. So that's just normal. But I appreciate that, Jay Styles, but no, not moving to New Jersey. It's actually interesting. I did have a recruiter reach out to me about a job in Northern New York, program manager position. And I said, I doubt it, but any chance of that being remote? And they said, no, there's no chance of that. And I said, okay, well, keep me in mind. You got anything around Chicago? But, appreciate people, reaching out for different positions. But I appreciate that, Jay Styles. Very much appreciate that. You try to improve. He doesn't want to be outclassed. It's interesting, Mike Hill, that, one of the things I am trying to do at work is I am trying to automate different things. Like one of the things I have done at work is I have created via a gem in Gemini. It's like Google Workspace, which has Gemini in it. You can make these gems, and I made a gem that I call my chief of staff. And I've got it scheduled that every morning at 8 a.m. and every afternoon at 1 p.m., it basically looks at all my email, all my chats, and my calendar and says, these are the things that are on your plate for today. Don't even have to look at my email. I already have boom, 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 all those things I need to do. Not saying I never need to look at my email, but I can now look at that at 8 o'clock and have a good idea of what's on my plate for the day and what I need to get done. So that's been one thing. The other thing I'm looking to do is to start mapping out some processes and seeing how I can work on certain things and automate some certain things that I do on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, there's one in particular. There is a report we run at least once an hour. And the process to run that is kind of outdated, I would say. There is another way to run it. And so I'm working at redoing that spreadsheet so that all you have to basically do is click one button and it will update. So that is what I am working on. I want to make a PC build and system upgrade home lab job. Yeah, if you've got a concept for anything, I highly recommend using Claude. Right now, I'm on the Claude Max plan because that gives me access to Fable 5, although Opus 5.0 or Opus 5 came out just yesterday. And it's better than Fable 5 in some ways and not as good at Fable 5. So other people that have been running it have said for strategy type things, Fable 5 is still better. So if you're trying to get ideas on how to do something, how to accomplish different goals. Hey, I want 5 ideas on how I can make 100K in a month. I'm being extreme, obviously. Not really any way to do that with zero money down. Not really going to be able to do that. But you give them those types of things, and it will process that and give you ideas. How the new safeguards suck. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot more safeguards on Opus than there are on Fable 5. Is Google AI Studio pretty much useless at this point? I won't call it useless. It's okay. It's certainly not Claude. It's certainly not any of their models. Sonnet 5, I would say, is better than Gemini at this point. Gemini is really good at doing research. That's pretty much its main thing. It is still an AI. It still can set up things for you. And right now it's what I have to work with. What was interesting was, my boss told me that, our finance guy was using Claude. I'm like, really? Does that mean I can use Claude? And do we have like a subscription, like a corporate subscription to Anthropic, so that if I feed information via an account with my work email, will that protect us because that stuff will be kept on internal and private? I don't know any of those questions. So that's one of the things I found out last Friday. So I'm curious. Anyway, did you claim the free $100 of Fable 5 usage credits? Yes. Well, I mean, I had a subscription, so no, I did not claim that. I didn't see that. So basically that Fable 5 usage would have been above and beyond your subscription. I did not see that. How did you claim that? It never popped up for me. If it is possible, I will use autopilot and invest in Pelosi tracker and reverse Kramer. So yeah, I do find it funny, the reverse Kramer idea. Yeah, so I watched a video that talked about the reverse Kramer, and you have to understand, Kramer knows how to invest. He does. He made money for a long time. But here's the thing. He is not an investor anymore. He's not even a stock picker. He's an entertainer. That is his job. Anybody who thinks he's a stock picker, wow, you have not been paying attention. He's an entertainer. So he will bring up stocks on his show, go buy, 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 sell, sell, sell. All of these are on his show because those particular companies are top of mind. Okay. So by the time they show up on his show and he's saying buy, 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 that is FOMO moment, guys. That is fear of missing out. That is the absolute time to sell. Time to sell. Do not be buying things that he's recommending on his show. Because again, like I said, by the time it gets to his show, the story's already out. The price already has everything priced in except for that jump that you're going to get because he recommends it and then people buy it as a result. So yeah, the reverse Kramer definitely works, but that's the reason why it works. He's not a stock picker anymore. He's an entertainer. He talks about what is top of mind, what everybody's talking about as far as like technology or other, what company is top of mind with the public, not the investing public, but just the public in general. You might want to check, expires on September 17th. Okay. So I haven't missed it yet. Appreciate that. It popped up when I went to use Claude yesterday. Oh, okay. You know what? I have not relaunched mine. I've got an update that I have not relaunched yet. Here, while I'm sitting here. What is this one? Oh, this is that. And okay. So I'm done with my topics for tonight. So yeah, we're just going to talk about in chat. Yeah, let me refresh this now. Wait for that to reboot. Not the computer, obviously, just Claude. But maybe it'll come back. Did it do it on desktop or did it do it in the Claude app? Because maybe I need to log into desktop and maybe it'll show me there. Well, it's already 10:10, been on for over 2 hours. I guess I should have expected that. I was predicting that it was going to be about a 2-hour stream with all the things I was going to talk about. All right, let's see. So we got about 2 out of 3 people liked the shirt. Got 30 votes. Well, okay, 20 of you liked it. Okay, I can live with that. I can definitely live with that. So out of 20 people that said yes, I'm expecting 2 of you will probably buy it. I guess that 10% is what I figured. But hey, I make those things because I think they're interesting. We'll see. We'll see how many people buy it. Like I make like $3 on a t-shirt. It's not a lot. It's not, I don't do it as a money making. I do it because I think it would be fun to wear a t-shirt like that. So I'm going to try to come up with some fun t-shirts. Definitely found having max voltage on a t-shirt, nobody's interested in, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. So yeah, let's see. Polymarket 100 on the 76ers to win. Yeah, it's probably not a horrible bet. It's probably not a horrible bet. I mean, the East is pretty easy to get through. And once you get to the finals, it's anybody's game at that point. I think I would definitely put money on the 76ers to make it to the finals next year. Yeah, he wants to put those Jordan people to hey, look, I won with 4 different teams. Jordan only won with 1. Sure. Okay. All right, let me end this poll. Yeah, I know LeBron James. I totally understand. He's going to the 76ers. Basically, they are he's going for the love of the game or something like that. He's going on a song because he wants to win another championship. And they have a pretty loaded roster from what I understand. So yeah, it'll be interesting. This year was kind of like, I don't know, a publicity stunt with him and his son on the same team is what it seemed like to me. I don't know. Not really a LeBron fan. All right. Anybody have any other questions? Otherwise, I will call it a night. 5 rings looking like a Thanos. Yeah. How many rings does Jordan have? Oh, that's right. 6. 6 in a lot fewer years. He's going for 8 million. He isn't fooling anyone. No, he's not fooling anyone. Not at all. He's going for another championship. 8 million for him is chump change. Not to insult chump change. So yeah. So anyway, kind of finalizing what I was saying. So yeah, like I said, work has been more peaceful. And like I said, just kind of really didn't take things personally. And I just finally said, you know what? Just not going to let it bother me. You don't want to agree with me? Fine. That's you take your decision. You run with your decision. It's fine. So yeah. And it's funny actually, like, we had, he didn't like how he finished up one day. I was perfectly fine with it. I knew we were going to be fine. We were. But he's like, oh, we should have worked on this instead. And he tried to blame my supervisor who was working second shift on that particular day. I said, no, don't blame him. Blame me. He followed my instructions. He did exactly what I instructed him to do. And he didn't even hear me. He started, hey, I'm not going to say his name. Let's just say Joe. His name's not Joe. Joe, you're not listening. He followed my instructions. Blame me. And then he finally heard it. He's like, well, why did you do that? And I explained, this is why I did it. And I said, I knew we'd be fine. We needed to make sure that this was done first thing in the morning because we had people coming in to do this. And if he didn't pick this, then there'd be nothing for these people to do. And we had people coming in at 4 a.m. Yeah, I went through the whole thing. I said, so this is the reason why. Didn't like it, but there was nothing you could do about it at that point. We'd already decided what we were going to do and it was already done. But yeah, it's not perfect, but keep those cards spinning. Yeah, absolutely. Bare Naked Miner, appreciate you being here. Listen, Linda, listen. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be watching this. Oh, you know what? One thing I did want to ask you. Did anybody notice that this looks a little bit different? Anybody notice that? Let me show you. Let me see if I can put it back to the way it was. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I changed it to. This is what it typically looks like. Which do you like better? That or that? Let me know in the chat. Oh, well, yeah, I got a haircut. Okay, yes. I obviously got a haircut. No, you know what? I didn't just get one. I got them all cut. Dad joke. So yes, I did get that. But like I said, it went from originally it looks like this. And I changed to look like this. I don't know. I like the way it looks. It's a little bit higher contrast. Happy Saturday, Brian Hollywood in the house. Good to see you, sir. Happy Saturday. Oh, by the way, today is me and my wife's 34th wedding anniversary. It is not a new camera. Like I said, this is what it normally looks like. Same camera. I changed some lighting. So one of the things that Meld Studio changed was they now allow you to use what's called a LUT, L-U-T. And so I went into the LUT like designer and started tweaking things. And when I moved this lever, I was like, oh, wait a minute. That looks kind of cool. That's like higher contrast. And so yeah, I moved it a little bit and yeah. So actually I can also go into it and change the intensity of it as well. Like I can just move and it gradually changes, or I can gradually change it back. So anyway, I like it. I was curious what you guys think. Let's see. Not a new camera. Yes, I am here. New camera settings. Kind of. It's not actually camera settings. It's this, like I said, it's this new feature in Meld, and it's a like color, you know, when you actually go in and change your colors or whatever in, you know, when people say that, oh, I need to change this because I need to change the colors and all this kind of stuff when they're editing their videos. I don't ever do any of that. But I was like, this is kind of cool. So I did definitely like this, but looks good both ways. I think the other one looks a little bit like, I don't know, like hazy, like there's a haze. Yeah, I don't know. I just think like that, like, I don't know. It looks to me like there's a haze in the air, and this one gives greater contrast. So it looks clearer. I don't know. I like it. Supposedly more cinematic, I guess. Doom boots, you found them on Vast? Did you have to go into the CLI, or did you find them on the GUI? How did you find the 170HXs? I will tell Sunflower Mama happy anniversary. Thank you. I feel bad for her. Very funny. You know what? It's just, as with any marriage, there's ups and downs. Lately, been nothing but ups from a marriage perspective, from the way we support one another and that type of thing. We all have our, you know, challenges and things like that, but from a marriage perspective, feel like we're in a really, really good place. So yeah, I'm definitely happy that I married the right woman. Definitely married the right woman. But you guys already knew that. You guys definitely already knew that. So Doom Boots, where did you find them? Where did you find the 170HXs on Vast? Inquiring minds want to know. Definitely want to know. I have to look to see like what it would look like. Well, I guess I can just do that now. Let me stand up. I was kind of curious how the lighting would work or look. Pretty much looks the same. But yeah, there's the new Rush t-shirt from, there's a picture of the United Center. Here. The 50-something tour. They're not 50-something. Getty's 71 years old. You want a standing desk? Yeah, I like it a lot. Now that I can stand, you're gonna DM me. Okay. Let me check. Let's see. No way. That is very interesting. Let me see if I can shoot. It's off the side. Okay, there we go. Let me bring this up. That is very interesting. Let me move over to that again. Vast, rent CMP 170HX GPUs on Vast for 12 cents an hour. The NVIDIA CMP 170HX is a dedicated mining GPU providing high performance and efficiency for cryptocurrency mining. So let me see if I click on this. Yeah, it doesn't come up with anything. Not here anyway. But that's pretty interesting. Obviously, they're planning on it. And you can see it's 12 cents. Let's see. Does it tell me how many? No, see, it's just giving me prices. So whoever's doing it, and it's probably just Swamp 7, he is at 12 cents an hour is what he's renting it out for. But it does not say like how many are available and such. Well, you know what? Let me do this. Let me go to here. So maybe they're all rented. So if I go over here and click unverified and unavailable offers, no, doesn't tell me anything. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, look at that. 170HX 8 in France. Very interesting. Very interesting. I know that Swamp 7 isn't in France. Let's do show more results. Because right now I only have it set at 8 or higher. Let me go down here. Well, if I go lower than that, it isn't going to show. You know what I can do? Let's do this. Price per hour. Problem is it's because it's 8. No, that's probably 2. Let's do that. Oh, I did it the wrong way. It's still only bringing up the 178, that 170HX for some reason. But it's definitely out there. Definitely out there. Let's see. He's got it at PCIe 2.0 4X. Oh, wait a minute. No, it just changed. It just changed. Let me see if there's a way of searching on PCIe. I think it's just bandwidth. And I changed, you know what, let me what is the bandwidth of it? 170HX is basically 1500 gigabytes per second. So where was the PCIe bandwidth? Yeah, so I have it too high. Let me go down to there. And then let's see. Oh, wow. Some other ones are like super low too. Oh, there we go. Still only the 170HX that I'm coming up with. But I did find them. Did find them. Let me go incompatible. See if that pops up anything else. Does not seem. That's interesting. This one is actually, you can tell by the QEMU, this is actually like some type of like maybe Proxmox or Unraid, probably Proxmox. That's pretty interesting. Why would they do that with 8 CMP 170HXs? Why wouldn't they just run them all bare metal? That's pretty interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, thanks, Doom Boots. I appreciate that. All right. Let me go back into chat. Yeah, Mageman Bro, I love the standing desk. It's a bigger desk as well. It's got the same depth as my last desk, but it's bigger. So when I do have an overhead camera, I have more room on this side of my desk if I want to shoot something. So I do like that quite a bit. Well, it's not cheap, but I splurged while being out. I have the fiber line. This is Mike Hill. I have a fiber line overhead in my backyard. I have DSL 1042 megabits on coax. DSL on coax. What? I didn't think that even existed. I thought there was DSL on typical phone line, but not on coax. I want to come off the power line pole with the fiber cable, and that is what they told me, and it can be 5G symmetrical. 50-foot run to the house. If it's overhead, hell, can you do it yourself? Doesn't sound like it's that hard. I mean, obviously you need to get the right equipment in order to do it, but yeah, they got the Gen X X4 unlocked without any hardware mods. Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that. Good evening, Ontario Miner. How's that L9 going? Let's see. Doom Boost. Vast interface is kind of clunky, but yeah, they're there. Like I said, I did find the one that you can see right here, but that's the only one I'm finding, unfortunately. But yeah, I was able to do it just by here. Actually, with what I've done now, let me go back down to, oh, that was price per hour. That's fine. I do want to take the GPU count down to whatever. Come on. You should update automatically. Show more results. Seriously? Okay, there we go. Wow. This 4060 Ti is on PCIe 2 4X. I didn't think there'd be that many that would be that low of bandwidth. But I guess there's a lot of cards that have that low of bandwidth. Interesting. So even though it's PCIe 2.0 at 4X, because of the speed of the memory, I think this memory speed still is pretty darn fast. There's the 170. Oh, there's one 170HX. That's another. Well, that's the same one. That's the same one. It's just you can rent 1 or you can rent 8. So that's the same one. And I'll probably eventually come up to the 2. Yeah, there's the 2. Same rig. God, I can't believe we're already in the 145,000s in rigs. So, yep, that's the only one that's coming up is that one in France. At least that I'm seeing in here, and there's the 8. Yep, that is the only one I am seeing. All right, like I said, I did find the one. Ontario Miner still mining away. Good. That's what Doom Boots. I was thinking the same thing. TSL over coax? There's a single GPU in Quebec. I did not see that one. It didn't come up on my search. Did not come up on my search. Not to say that's not there. Well, I do know where I could probably do just a 170HX search on here. But yeah, it's not coming up in my search for whatever reason. Let's see. Although I have been kind of going past the ones that are already rented. There's the France one. Let me take out the unavailable. Well, let's see if that gives me anything more than the France one. Does it give me anything more than the France one? No, I already passed up the one, I guess. Because I was the 2. Yeah, there's the 1. Yeah. My search, I'm not coming up with it. Not coming up with it. Interesting. But yeah, interesting to see that it's actually on Vast. Actually on Vast. I want to know how well it works with stable diffusion models. I don't think it would work great with that, but hey, maybe Swamp 7 will hear you and he can try it out on pandas. Mike Hill says, I will have over 24 Dell servers after the fiber is installed. Nice. Very nice. Those are GPU servers or just general servers? Internet speed test, 304 download and 30.6 upload. Oh. Yeah, it makes me happy with what I've got, even though I'd like to have symmetrical. I don't know the first thing about stable diffusion, but maybe I'll try it. Yeah, I don't know anything about. I have not used it. Had to turn off my Panda's old Z11 running at 11 cents. Wasn't worth the added electrical. Yeah, yeah, comfy UI. That is so weird. When I go down there, if I highlight over Squirrel Masters, it says comfy UI, but when I go away from it, it has like a thing in front and then it just says comfy. Weird. Alrighty, guys, I've been going for 2.5 hours, way more than I thought I was going to. I appreciate you guys all being here. I do plan on not missing any other Saturdays. And I will definitely do this coming Saturday. Yeah, we'll definitely do this Saturday. And we'll definitely do the following Saturday as well. Yeah. So again, appreciate you guys being here. And as always, no tabs were harmed in the making of this live stream. Have a good one, everybody.